What's up, people? I guess I'm continuing my video on piety and being pious, or playing with circles. Once I kind of defined that word, I don't know what led me to defining that word. It just led me into all kinds of other stuff, but like holy men and Jesus and all kinds of philosophers always looked after piety. So this is just more stuff that I started unraveling. I've always been interested in the zodiac, and I was listening to a documentary about money, and my other piety videos were about time. And a lot of people say time is money and money is time. Some people say money is God and God is money, and I don't believe that crap, but money makes the world go round, which is coincidence. And so a lot of us spend a lot of time chasing this dollar, but this dollar symbol can be traced back to back to Rome and even further back. But basically, this is IHS. You'll find this in the middle of the cross. I go through. Sometimes I'll wander through Catholic cemeteries and I'll see this cross with this symbol here, which is Isis Horus Set, or Isus, or Jesus in some tongues. But this cross can be folded up into a cube, coincidentally, and then you have 490-degree corners, which is 360 degrees, so it represents Christ consciousness, or the Christos consciousness in a sense, which is all of this stuff. What I mean, I'll get to it in a minute. What I mean by Christ consciousness, and a lot of these New Agers talk about Christ consciousness grid and stuff, and I'll kind of go into that. But it's kind of ironic that this is a sine wave. This serpent on a staff is representative of healing, the pharmacopoeia, the hermetic boundaries, and trade and commerce. There's two characters in astrological constellations that carry the caduceus. One is the father's house, and one is Hermes. But anyways, Moses carried a serpent on a staff. But this is time in a sense, and it's also money. If you just turn that symbol on its side, you get a sine wave like this here, and that single line would represent our equator. And these two lines would represent the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, in a sense. And I also noticed after I doodled this out and put little dots on the tropic lines here, if you can imagine this being Earth and the sun rolling across Earth, there's your money symbol. But you also get this yin yang symbol, which is kind of cool. I wasn't expecting that to pop out. But that yin-yang symbol is it's familiar in the East with Taoism. And you'll see it on like the Korean flag and stuff, and the Chinese cultures. But if you study Taoism, and I studied that in philosophy class, you'll find that they got this symbol, and you'll see it on ancient shields in Rome. But they got it from a group of people. I don't want to get this right. I think they call it them the sons of reflective light. And there are these people that were highly sophisticated in metallurgy, and they wore all these shiny clothes, and basically I think they were alchemists that kind of went into the East and maybe brought some of this knowledge, but that's a whole nother story. So I just separated. We've all seen these maps of Earth where they split it in two like this, and they draw a line for the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, and then the equator, and the sun kind of rolls across it like so. And then the zodiac wheel's all in here, like so. But see, this is spring, summer, where we start to gather our sums for the winter, or the fall. And then it falls into winter and back up. If you look closely at this, you can tell like a whole story. Like here's Abram, Father Ram, and the bull god. Here's Gemini, the twins. But there's alternative names to all this stuff that can correlate into ancient stories all around the globe. But more than just this sine wave, we've got to remember that there's a whole nother story of this going backwards this way. Up here at the pole, where the Earth is spinning one direction and this is spinning backwards. So you have this year going this way and this going this way. This is the wheels within a wheel. Hey, 3 circles, 3 octaves. There's your Vesica Pisces again. These are just a pyramid that makes 360. This is some circles I drew in the radius, and then here's the moon with its radius. I was just farting around with stuff. The sun rules through 7 months here, which I think is kind of neat. And then we have these 5 months of darkness down here. And often when you see the sun depicted, it's got 7 crowns or coronas or crown of thorns. Like the Statue of Liberty represents enlightenment, it's bright months, and it's got 7 crowns of thorn. And this is a sacred number, of course. But in the musics, like the music of the spheres and stuff, like I was explaining in some of my other videos, there's seven notes of light on the piano and 5 notes of darkness. There's 7 notes of the major minor scale and all of the church modes, the Aeolian, the Dorian, the Phrygian, the Lydian, the Mixolydian, the Ionian, and the Locrian. I think I got all those right, but those were also named after the 7 sacred churches, but they were also named after 7 groups of people around the Aegean Sea. And then these 5 notes, the dark notes, is the pentatonic scale, coincidentally like the pentagram. Maybe that's why it's the pentagram and heavy metal and rock and roll is associated with darkness, and a lot of blues and rock is written here. But there's also beautiful music written there too, because it's woven into that, so I don't know how anybody can separate the two, but our months are tied into that, just like everything else I've been trying to explain. But I don't know, all this stuff fascinates me. I think it's no coincidence that like the head of Christianity or Catholicism or Universalism exoterically is Christianity or Catholicism. I think esoterically it's just the Hermetic traditions passed down from Egypt and so on. But this is all the Gregorian calendar, which was merged with the Mayan calendar and the Julian calendar in the mid-1500s that we all live by. So this Mayan calendar perfectly aligns with all this stuff. It's funny that people think there's 2 separate things, but and just so you know, like I watch every Christmas. I watch what's going on ever since 2012, and I used to watch the sun come up under Virgo every Christmas morning after it had died on the cross of the zodiac for 3 days during the winter solstice, only to be born under Virgo and set under Pisces, the Fisher King. But ever since 2012, it's been slipping into Opitius, the Father's house, and it kind of stays there for, gosh, it seems like it stays there for, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 days, I don't know. After about 8 or 9 days, I usually quit looking in the sky, and then it kind of goes back to its normal position. But I think it's supposed to do that for 18 years. And then it's supposed to finally, on Christmas morning, one of these, after 18 years of the sun going missing into the Father's house, it's supposed to rise in Aquarius, and we'll have this new age on Christmas morning. A lot of teachers of astrotheology, like, what's his name? They all start right here, and they always start from the spring. But up here, when you're paying attention to this part, you really need to pay attention to the wobbles and how the story pertains to the Wabi. The whole nativity scene takes place during the winter solstice in the sky, or it did for 2,000 years. The 3 stars in Orion's belt would line up with the pyramids, and the dog star would point to where the Virgo would rise, or you get Sirius and our Catholic dogma. And every morning on Christmas morning, we'd go outside early in the morning, and Virgo would come up, and the sun would pop out from under her womb. But ever since 2012, it's been going here, and I guess it's supposed to go there for 18 years. I guess those are the missing years of Jesus in between the ages or something. I don't know. it's all really fascinating system of knowledge. But the Gregorian calendar, the Vatican seems to have its grips on the calendar system in time. I know we all have our interpretations of it, but as the world grows into a unified system, and we all navigate off of this same latitude longitude system, which is the 360-degree grid lines based on all this stuff. And it's a Christ consciousness grid in a sense, because it all comes from this. And it's what sets up all the hermetic boundaries around the world and allows us to trade with one another and trade these things around and create nothing out of something, or something out of nothing, I guess. And develop the world in a sense, I guess, or colonize the world. I don't know. Money's a trippy thing. The Swiss are great clockmakers, and they guard the money for the Vatican, and they also kind of stay out of all the wars and fund all the banks and stuff. It kind of makes you wonder. But I don't know. I don't know if this stuff might might be interesting to somebody. But I don't know if there's anything else I want to say. As far as the Christ consciousness grid, this is a mathematical interpretation of it, a science interpretation of it, this latitude, longitude grid with the 360 degrees. It's all based out of this knowledge here and piety. But imagine seeing the world natural, without money. There were no hermetic boundaries, and we were nomadic people, and we stayed in touch with the earth, and we ate properly. We ate all the stuff that came from the earth, and let's say we find these special fruits that grew around the base of the evergreens, or the trees of mystery, and we consume them, and it dialed our bodies in, and we awaken our pineal gland, and we use the magnetite like a compass in our pineal gland, and we use the cryptochrome proteins in our eyes like the birds and the bees and everything to navigate, because they see a blue light photo grid over everything when they're out navigating. That's how they find their way home and their way out and about. That's the true Christ consciousness grid. Not using this in 3, 4, 5 triangles to navigate the globe, and using this as orientating your cross to the east and the orient. That's why they say orient to the east. So where you want to orientate your cross so that you can let the Lord be thy shepherd through all of this stuff. But when we didn't have this grasp of time, when we didn't have the knowledge, this knowledge of divine knowledge, divination, just move these over and you have another, just move that dot over here and you have the division symbol, the divine knowledge of time and how everything in the universe is working in this spherical circular motion, which is all in a spiral or spirit. It's all moving according to spirit or spiral. Where we get this S from. What if we were just nomadic again? We were just living as part of the earth, and we were in tune with the earth, and we were, just hunters and gatherers, I guess. But I think those people, well, I'm going to save all that for another video. But pi is a very interesting system. Even after we get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we got 13, 14, and 15, which is a representation of pi as well. It's just 3.1415. And you go around this circle again, and you get 2, 23, 24, 25. So it's just, we're adding to the pi each time we go around the circle. I don't know if that makes sense. That's something I thought about this morning. That's pi is encoded in our alphabet at 3:15 on the clock here, but it's also encoded as we pass the Fibonacci number of perfection 13, where our clock spirals out to. You have 13, 14, 15. Just take away that 1 in front of it, and you got 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. And you'd make another circle, and 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5. So on and so forth out into infinity. So our number system, our whole, and a lot of it's based on the Aramaic counting system and stuff. as far as other cultures, but in Egypt, all kinds of stuff. But there's something to this knowledge, there's something to it, and how it all ties together. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't really live by the clock. And I'm not a slave to money. Damn, I'm making a long video. I get what I need to get by, and I don't stress over time, because I believe when you live in the moment, you live in this point right here, and that 0 point where everything is one. And you're just living in the moment, and you're going with the flow. All kinds of beautiful things pop up. All kinds of synchronicities happen when you're in the moment. When you're worried about the past, it causes depression. When you're worried about the future, it causes anxiety. Just live right now in the now. And I think that's why all this stuff starts popping in my head, is because I'm just chilling and not worrying about all this crap. Not letting this control my day, or the sine wave or the sin of time control my thoughts. I'll leave it there. Have a good day, people. Be blessed.